So lately I've been thinking a lot about close-ups. So if you're an indie filmmaker and you're working on your next project and you're thinking to yourself, what is the one thing that I can really try and nail and really perfect on this project? Well, if there was only one thing, I would recommend getting the sound correct. But I think at this point everyone kind of knows that. But if there was one other thing that you could really try and nail and really perfect, I would recommend studying the art of the close-up. And I should say, everything I'm talking about here today in this video is based on real-world experience. I recently finished writing, directing, and shooting my own independent feature film, a sci-fi comedy called Gardener's Planet. And the trailer's out here, you can check out the trailer. So yeah, this video is going to be about the power of the close-up and the lighting that goes along with it. So let's get stuck in. And it might sound strange to want to make a video about the close-up and say how powerful it is. You might think, yeah, everybody already knows that. But I wonder, do they? In the era of social media where everyone is just posting, is the craft of filmmaking getting a little bit lost? Very often people will just film a wide shot and then they'll crop it in and they'll call that a close-up. But that's not a close-up if you're just filming 4, 6 or 8K and you're cropping it in post. That's not a close-up, that's a cropped shot. So you know if you're cutting to a close-up in your film, it's probably because it's an emotional or dramatic point in the story. So to get that drama and emotion across and make it as impactful as it can, to have some nice lighting to complement the close-up is probably always a good idea. And how do you maximize that emotional or drama potential that you have with every close-up with the lighting? Well, the best way is just by creating some contrast in your lighting in very ordinary English, you know, having some light here, having some dark here, having different kinds of light and shades of dark, just by adding contrast into the shot. And how much drama, how much contrast do you add? Well, that's different for every film. Can you see me? I think you can. So it feels cool to be making another cinematography video. I did do a video sort of similar to this before on this channel, and you can check it out here if you want to see it. And I just wanted to do another video along similar lines, but obviously different, as my tastes and hopefully my skills have improved, because so much of this channel is about cinematography. Even when I'm get this guy on. I love this light. I've had this light for a while and it's been a great light. Aperture 60D, in case anyone is wondering. But so much of this channel is all about cinematography. Even if I'm talking about Blender, CGI, or doing the marketing, you know, I'm always thinking about the cinematography and I'm always trying to improve it for every video to make the experience of each video as good as it can be. So yeah, it feels good to be back. So again, we're going to be using this Roger Deakins example from Hail Caesar, where the camera is shooting into the shadow. You've got negative fill off of frame right. You've got the primary light behind me, which would be both a backlight bouncing off the reflector, and bouncing back at me. But what I want to also do this time is add some hard light off on the left there, so there's just a little accent, a little bit more separation on my face there from the background. So let's see how that goes. Okay, here we go. So this is the first setup, and it's the exact same as what I did previously, following the Deakins lighting setup from Hail Caesar, in terms of the primary light behind me acting as both a backlight and reflecting onto my face, and the negative fill on frame right. And this is cool, and it was good to do it again, even just for practice. And now, yeah, here we go. So now this is only the hard light before I'd introduce it into the setup, just so you can see what it's doing. It's on the edge of my face, a bit of my nose and my shoulder, and actually my far shoulder as well. I'm not in love with it being on my nose, but it is what it is, I guess. And so here then is all the elements. So you've got the light behind me acting as a backlight, acting as a key light, bouncing off the reflecting board. I've got the hard light from the aperture of frame left, just again, kind of outlining my jaw, my ear, the side of my face. And I'm not in love with it being on my nose. You know, it shouldn't really be there. If I had a bigger space, I'd have moved it back and it would have gotten off the nose. And then the negative fill on the right. And there's just no negative fill, so the shadows are less pronounced. You can see a bit more detail on the right side of my face, and maybe while the other setup might be more dramatic for a drama, this is maybe more for an interview. And yeah, you can see the two setups there. So just taking away the negative fill, the black curtain there on my right, and it's a less dramatic image, right? That's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what the negative fill adds, is a strong sense of drama. And then just here the negative fill is back up again with staying at f2.8. Here's f3 just to close it down. I think I closed it down just because I wanted to see how dark. I couldn't get the lights any lower, so I kept the lights I think at the same strength, and I just wanted to close it down to see what the difference would be. So it's obviously getting darker as it goes along, and I guess you're just seeing less detail, but also less contrast. And just in terms of some lighting for this video, this is my kind of setup at the moment. I have this Godox VL300 that's on 4%. Then I have this Godox 150 shining down on me, in theory a backlight, but it's a little bit more on top of me than I would like. That's on 8%. Then the aperture, that's a fill light. That's coming, let's check what that is actually. That's on 7%. This is on 7%. So yeah, thanks so much for watching that. Hope you got something out of that. I've definitely learned so much about cinematography just by doing the YouTube videos over the last couple of years. So I'm keen to share what I've learned. You know, until recently, I was using a Leeming LUT, which required a lot more light. But now I've switched to a Butterly LUT. And the lighting difference is kind of insane. Like, you need a lot less light for the Butterly LUT than you do for the Leeming LUT. So it does make me think that I was overlighting some of my videos. In terms of my own film gardeners plan, I definitely would like to redo some of the shooting from Block 1. It was shot over a 3-year period from 2022 to 2025. And some of that stuff we shot in Block 1 in 2022. I would really like to redo that. Especially maybe this scene in the cabin where we have Stanley and Harry talking and it's a big exposition scene. We did a lot of camera setups, and I love all the camera setups, even though it probably drove our first AD, Joseph Fuller, crazy. But in terms of the lighting, I wish the lighting could have been a little bit better. Yeah, so it might have been nice to have, because it's all kind of the same exposure, I guess, here, right? So it might have been nice to have, I don't know, some hard light here, you know, and if we brought this down a little bit, brought the other side of his face down, just a little bit more shade there, that would have been cool, I think. And also the background, you know, it really is all the same exposure. Why isn't that going across that way? But yeah, just to bring that down a little bit more, just to have a little bit more sense of contrast in the frame, and again get across that bit of split lighting. And maybe where is it? Maybe also just bring this up a little bit, you know what I mean? Just not sure why is it fading. I need to hold down the mouse, but yeah, just a little bit more contrast. It's just, you know, make it less flat. That's what you're trying to pretend that this flat 2D image is what it's supposed to be, a 3D image, and light can really help with that. Oh well, next time. This is probably one of my favorite frames, and this was shot, you know, if the Stanley shot The previous shot was shot in Block 1, 2022. This was shot near the very end of filming in 2025, 2024, 2025, pretty sure. And I like this, you know, you've got the contrast of the green on this half of the face, and then the blue on the other half. That's nice. If I was doing it again, I might not have pushed the green quite so far. I might have, you know, let's see. I might have only brought it like as far as here and make that green, as opposed to going all the way kind of more over to the face or whatever, just so it's like a third less green. Coloring in on this thing should be simpler than it is. Okay, so a little bit less green. The smoke obviously adds a lot as well, and that's great. Like the smoke here is really nice. This was obviously shot at night, you know, so it's easier to control. But the focus is very much, you know, it's on Michael here, our main character. You know, you're not getting distracted by anything in the background. I don't know why it's doing this, but I know, you know, your focus is in the right place. And the smoke adds a lot of texture. There's a little bit of hard light, it looks like, behind him. So whatever we were doing with the lighting, it looks like one of the strongest lights was behind him. You can see on his ears, left and right there's some hard lights. So there's a little bit of something going on there, not much. I don't know, I'm really pleased with this. Maybe I could have brought down this light that's obviously coming from this direction in front of him. Maybe brought that down a little bit in strength and had a little bit less green. But no, I love this image. This is the reason you make movies, right? For images like this, when your hero is out in a scary place and there's smoke in the background and he sees something mysterious ahead of him and he's looking off screen and we can't see what he's seeing. So I love this. You know, I love this. So we got better as we went along, and I learned so much, and I'm very grateful to all the people who were there that night. The cinematography probably peaked when we did the 3 nights of shooting here in my parents' back garden here in Cork, as I've spoken about before. Those 3 nights to shoot the climax of the film were a huge amount of work. 3 nights, 13-14 hours to shoot 2.5 minutes of footage. But between all the coordination of moving the lighting, the wires, and the smoke, and you know, all the external factors like the wind, it took up a lot of time. But I'm really proud of that and really grateful to everyone who helped me over those nights as well. So yeah, cinematography is like an ongoing thing that you just have to practice and try and get better at. And with that, yes, we have reached the end of the video. Thank you, yes, you, so much for watching. If any of this was educational, interesting, or just plain entertaining, then please consider liking and subscribing. And yes, I will be back with another video from the world of independent filmmaking very, very soon.